Hello, my name is MooingCat and welcome to my final beta recap of the year. In this video, I will go through the changelogs for the last couple of weeks. As you probably know, I haven't been making these videos for a few weeks now. I will also go over a few changes to the Forge Bowl event, a bit on the Guild Expedition level 5 update. We do have a decent amount more to talk about in the St. Patrick's Day event, as well as the Anniversary event. What's that about? And then finally, well, a bit on notifications for browser, and then I'll also talk a little bit more about the new tutorial that is out and that I did make a video on a couple of weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago now actually. Anyways, before I go into all of that, I will start with the changelog, but as always, you can use the timestamps in the description if you want to skip ahead. So first starting with the changelog, from the week starting on November the 28th, that is around 3 weeks ago. So all of this should already be out. There was a bug, don't really need to cover that. They added this limit to the length of guild descriptions. I don't know what the limit is, but I suspect it is quite large or quite big, quite long. Because here it says on beta, no guilds will be affected by this change. So the way I read this is that no guild on beta had any descriptions that was longer than this new limit. So yeah, I suspect it's not that big of a deal at all. And then for live, they put out notifications to the guilds that were affected by this. Again, I don't think that many would have been affected. But yeah, they added a change there. Then on the Tuesday that week, first here, in the daily specials, the full Epic Forge Bowl 2023 selection kit, that's quite a mouthful, was available. That was supposed to be 5 fragments, which is a shame. It's not that bad though, or I still think it is bad that they have replaced it with fragments. But what they also have, and this has been hinted at, and I would say pretty much confirmed by the community manager on my Discord server, and that is the fact that this Epic Forge Bowl selection kit, or Epic kits going forward, will always be available on the last day of events. So the last day of the Forge Bowl event, you will be able to pick up 5 fragments for this Epic selection kit. And if you don't remember, the way this Epic selection kit works is that you can choose between all the previous buildings from that event. So all the previous Forge Bowl event buildings you can choose between. So basically kind of a super selection kit for all of those, which is quite nice. And the kind of reasoning that Juber, the community manager, mentioned is that this allows the players to at the end of the event, if they weren't able to pick up the prize they wanted or not enough of it, they can at least spend the remaining currency to get the fragments for this full selection kit. You do need, you need 15 fragments, so you do need 3 daily specials per regular daily special, I suppose. So you definitely don't want to rely on these epic kits, but it's a nice way to pick up some additional kits at the end of the event, I suppose. So overall, I'm probably not that big of a fan of the change, but I can at least understand the reasoning. Anyways, a couple of weeks ago, I did mention it in one of my beta recaps, and it's already on live now. They added some new items to the antique dealer. In the announcement, one of those, they mentioned the abandoned asylum, that was added to the shop, so that you buy directly. But that was supposed to say House of Horror, so you might have seen it already, but the House of Horror selection kit is available in the shop now, which is quite nice. They also adjusted the gem and trade coin values for the log cabin. I don't quite know what the new values are, but I think they nerfed it a bit, if I'm not mistaken, because I think it was quite high actually. If I remember correctly, one of the first videos I made for InnoGames was about daily specials, and one of the things I mentioned was that, or I mentioned quickly what was the best option for the antique dealer. I think I said Shrine of Knowledge, but I think the actual answer was log cabin, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken there, but something like that. Anyways, that has been changed. Not that big of a deal. They also made some adjustments to also basically some fixes to the Epic selection kit. It didn't have all the items, so that was fixed. Anyways, moving on Thursday, just some visual updates and nothing on Friday either. So let's move ahead to the next week. And well, here again, basically mostly visual updates. They did a hotfix for the winter or event pass for the winter event that didn't work apparently. Apparently loading times for battles on iPad was very slow, took very long, but other than that, just some visual changes, nothing really important that we need to talk about. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't make this video last week. There wasn't really that much to talk about, and I figured that not a lot would happen this week either, so I would group all of these 3 weeks into one video, like I'm doing right now. Anyways, let's move on to the this week that just, or last week, I'm recording this on Monday actually. The Monday after, I usually do this on Sundays. Anyways, last week we had nothing on Monday and Tuesday, no updates. I believe they mentioned that they were doing some background changes, and that's why we got no updates here. Then on Wednesday, just some display updates. We can skip through those. On Thursday, again, no player-related updates. And then here on Friday, well, first of all, this update here on Friday didn't actually go through. Something went wrong, I suppose, so they haven't actually updated this. So I don't think all of this has been added yet, although some of them probably have been because, well, in the text here you can see since Thursday, so these 2 first points there were probably added in Thursday here, and we can already see that. So let's read them. Since Thursday, we have reactivated the browser push notifications with some improvements. I don't really remember seeing any announcement of it, but on beta now, you have push notifications for the browser. You can activate it here in the settings. You can also specify which notifications you want. So if you play on mobile, you probably recognize this. You can get a push notification on your phone for some of these actions here. And as we can see here in the spoiler section, there will probably be more added in the future, like message stuff, some more auction stuff and so on. That will probably be added in the future. If we go back, where is it here? So yeah, that will probably be added. It doesn't seem to be fully working right now, probably a bit bugged. I will probably fix that first week in January probably. But yeah, the way it will work is that you get a pop-up on your, at least on Windows, you get a pop-up in the Windows notification area, like this. You get a sound if you have that enabled. So it makes it easier, I suppose, to track what you're doing. And yeah, it's an option that you can set or just ignore if you don't like it. So here you have 2 examples of how it would look like. Anyways, they also added a new offer or new package to the shop. So for real money, the no ads package. So it's a 1-month subscription that will remove the need to watch ads to collect the ad incident, to use aid all, the tavern boost and so on, all of those on mobile. You can now buy this here to to not have to see ad for those. I have heard that the price is $5. I can't confirm it. I don't have it in my shop. It might be mobile only, because yeah, at least if I go into the shop here, I can't. It's not available here. So I don't know what the price is. But I believe someone mentioned in the feedback thread that it was $5. So yeah, probably $5. So if that is worth it for you, that's up to you. But yeah, then also apparently there were some issues with the app crashing that, well, it might not be fixed if this if this update didn't go through. So we'll have to see. And then finally, the daily updates will pause until the 2nd of January. So as usual, the developer team, or the entire team, it appears, is going on Christmas break. So yeah, for the next 2 weeks, we will probably not see too much. There probably will be a few people there at least. Earlier today, some of you might have noticed that the server were down for a couple of hours. But yeah, no updates until January. So that's, yeah, I will not be making any more of these, as I mentioned in the beginning, until next year, and I'm also going away myself. So yeah, the next beta recap should be out at the end of the first week of January. Anyways, that's it for the daily changelog. Let me go over one or two more changes for the Forge Bowl event. First of all, they increased the amount of some rewards, exchanged some fragment rewards with a full item, and replaced some worse rewards with better ones. So no specifics here, but I think this is mostly for, well, a big part of this is probably for the grand prizes. I think some of those were improved. Some of the goods amounts and stuff like that was probably improved. And I think a few daily specials were also improved. But yeah, we will see when it comes to live servers what we actually can get from the daily specials. Then the pizzeria, one of the options for the main building, will also produce previous age goods, scaling actually, which is interesting. So you might remember that we have two options for the main building at the last level, the bistro and pizzeria. Now both of these give the same amount of attack, but the bistro here gives 12 forge points and 10 goods versus 3 forge points and what was 30 goods. And most people, quite naturally I think, didn't really think that was a fair trade. The amount of goods you get, 20 additional goods, is definitely not worth 9 forge points for most people. So they also added this previous age goods as well. And here you can see the amount scaling with age, which they have done one or two times in the past, but that's also something quite new that they're doing. So yeah, you can now get up to 60 goods in Space Age Jupiter Moon, which is a decent improvement. So now you get 50 goods for those 9 forge points. I still don't think it is worth it. I would probably go for Bistro myself, but it's at least something to consider. Alright, let's move into the spoiler sections. First of all, we have the Guild Expedition. And well, we actually knew this, or have known this for a couple of weeks now. Of course, with the dev team shutting down for the year, it also makes sense. But yeah, the Guild Expedition level 5 will not come to the beta server until next year. So yeah, don't know when next year, but my bet would be sometime in January, hopefully quite early on. So that'll be fun to see. Let's hope we can try it out, well, in a couple of weeks, but we will see. Other than that, we don't have anything new regarding the mechanics of Guild Expedition level 5. We haven't had that in months now, to be honest. So, but yeah, something that I wanted to mention. I did mention it in a previous video as well. For the St. Patrick's Day event, we do have quite a bit of stuff to talk about. So first of all, well, just a quick refresher if you haven't seen my last video. The main building is the Druid Hut. We didn't know the name last time. It is 5x4 and we have 10 levels. And then we also have 3 other buildings. These are 1x1 and we don't quite know what they are. They might be just standalone buildings. It might be some sort of set or chain, who knows. I think I'm leaning towards just standalone buildings, but we will see going forward what these actually are. But yeah, we have these 3. Now that's nothing new there. For the event pass, nothing new here either. We do have an update on this avatar here, the Irish dancer. I don't have the old one, but it has been made a lot more creepy than the original one, which is interesting, but it is what it is. So that has been updated, and not really that important. The main thing from last time is that we now have some more information about kits. So let's start with the regular kits. First of all, well, we did have all of these last time, but we didn't have the names or the images for them. We only had placeholders. So we now have the full items. We have the upgrade kit and selection kit for the main building as usual. And then, interestingly, we have 2 selection kits for these trees here. We have one that gives all 3, and then for some weird reason, one that only gives 2 of them. So this kit here gives all 3 of these. This one, only these 2. Don't know why. but it is what it is. Perhaps they first did this one and then they figured or ended up using this instead. But I think this was added after this actually, so perhaps not. Anyways, no idea why that is the case, but it is at least what it is. Then moving over here, we have some other kits as well. First of all, we have this epic selection kit that we had in the Forge Bowl, or that was introduced in the Forge Bowl event. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, this will most likely give or allow you to choose between all the previous year's event buildings from the St. Patrick's Day event, probably the Carnival event, I imagine, as well. The St. Patrick's Day event replaced that, so the Piazza will probably be available. The Grand Bridge, I want to say, and Venice Canals, something like that. Yeah, a few of those will probably be available as well. In addition to stuff like Celtic Farmstead, Druid Temple, and probably Celtic Forest as well. Though interestingly, we have two new selection kits for the Celtic Forest. One is the Celtic Altars, and one is the Celtic Trees. And these, looking at the images here, on the altar one, we have the Fairy Ring and Moongate, I want to say. Might be mistaking the names, but yeah, the two bigger buildings, the 4x3 and 3x3 pieces for the set. And on the other ones here, we have the Druid Willow, Standing Stone, and Majestic Fawn/Stag. So that's interesting. I'm not that fond of this change. I hope that they are not splitting them up as rewards or different rewards in the event itself, because that would just be diluting the pool. It would make it even harder to get pieces for the Celtic Forest kit set, which is already one of the hardest ones to get, and you need a lot of pieces for it. So it's definitely not one that you should split up. And well, if you're going for my designs at least, you hardly need any of these. You basically only need pieces from here. So if you get either or, for example, after each town in the event, that would not be good. I guess the optimist in me would hope that these perhaps replace the individual pieces in the Antiques dealer. That would be my hope, but I'm not that hopeful. But who knows, that might be the case. Anyways, then we have the most interesting piece, or kit. We have the quote-unquote ultimate upgrade kit. And we don't really know what it is. We have a few theories, some that I like, some that I really don't like. So let me just go through them. One theory is that this is an upgrade kit to unlock a premium additional level of the building. That you can get this upgrade from the event pass to unlock one extra additional level beyond what you can get for free. That's one theory. I really hope that is not the case. That would really suck in my opinion. The second theory is that it might give some, or that it's still a premium option, but that instead of giving a permanent additional level, it's a temporary additional level for the main building. That one I'm fine with. I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be quite a cool thing, to be honest. So yeah, that might be interesting. Another theory is that it might, instead of upgrading one level, you can perhaps go 2 levels up. Who knows? In the winter event, for example, we have 2 selection kits for the main building in the event pass line. Perhaps this will replace that, and you can go 2 levels with each of these kits. That's another theory. So yeah, we don't know what it gives. There are a couple of theories. Let's hope it's not the first one, but who knows? We'll see when we get closer to the event. It will probably start in January sometime on beta. So probably don't have to wait that long. Anyways, moving on, we also have some loading screens. And I really like this first one here. It will make for some really nice thumbnails for me, so that's nice. And then we also have the second here, which is it's just a building as usual. So nothing interesting there. And we also have some new information texts. Nothing too interesting here. But we I do have a few things. First of all, these texts here more or less confirm that the mechanic will be at least very similar to the last couple of years with towns and all of that. The boxes after the town seems to have been renamed to Celtic chests. I don't think they were called anything special last year. Might be mistaken there, but yeah, at least now they are Celtic chests. You can open all of them. I don't think that was possible last year, but who knows? And yeah, if you use pots of gold to open all the reward boxes, or it doesn't really say to open all, but it says that you get the chance of getting the Druid Hut selection kit. So that's where we got the name, the Druid Hut. And this is most likely that when you do open all the boxes, you get a selection kit for the main building. So yeah, but yeah, other than that, nothing really too interesting in these information texts. So that's it for the St. Patrick's Day event. Quite a lot of interesting stuff to look forward to. Then we have the Anniversary event. What does this mean? So the first thing I had in mind, or actually let me just quickly show all the assets. These have probably been updated. That's one of the downsides with the new system. Let's not get into that. But yeah, here we have some interesting items, some background banners and so on. This 2x is interesting. The energy here is very interesting. We also have an interesting looking chest. And then going down here, we have some other stuff. We have gems. What on earth are these? We have 3 different colors. We have this checkers board. What's this all about? And we also have some decorations that, hint at the archaeology event. What on earth does all of this mean? Well, to be quite honest, I don't know. My first thought when I saw the name, Anniversary event, you can see here in the text themselves, Anniversary, I thought that perhaps this was related to the 10th anniversary event from last year, that this was kind of a rework of that event, or perhaps a redevelopment to kind of make this a standard event to possibly replace the spring event. But then, if you might remember from last year, but the way in-game, the assets for the 10th anniversary event had a code name of Ages. So in the code, the event itself is not called 10th anniversary, it's called the Ages event. So anniversary here in the names, that's actually something relatively new. 5 years ago, in the 5th anniversary event, there were some assets that used the anniversary name, but other than a few assets there, this is the first time we are seeing assets with anniversary in the name. So this seems to be something completely new then. So that's also very interesting. What on earth are we celebrating next year in terms of InnoGames or Forge of Empires? The community manager hinted in my Discord channel that it might be related to the, kind of the start of InnoGames. The first game they made, or at least the founders of InnoGames, was Tribal Wars, which was released in 2003, so that would be 20 years ago. InnoGames, the makers of Forge of Empires, they weren't founded until 2007, so 4 years later, but it was funded by the same guys that made Tribal Wars, so perhaps they consider this the 20th anniversary of InnoGames, who knows. That's at least what the community manager hinted at, but he might not be, or perhaps he doesn't know yet, or perhaps he is kind of misleading. Who knows? We just had some fun talk on my Discord channel, nothing official, of course. So it might be perhaps related to 20th anniversary, kind of InnoGames. Who knows? But as for the mechanics of the event, it does seem to me like it's a new event. But I'm wondering, judging by these decorations here, reward decorations, which as you can see are assets from the archaeology event, and we also have gems, which we do find in the archaeology event, perhaps this is a reworked archaeology event. Perhaps this event will replace the archaeology event, who knows, and yeah, kind of have similar themes with archaeology, gems, and so on. And I'm not quite sure what this minigame would be. Some sort of checkers or chess minigame. So that's really interesting. I don't really have much more to say right now, but I'm definitely very interested to see what this might mean, what this might bring in the future. I quite like the art style that we have so far with these gems, quite like the look of these, quite like the look of the board. Looks fun, looks interesting. So yeah, that's something that we will probably not know for sure for quite some time. But I'll definitely be keeping an eye, so let's hope we get something interesting here in the new year. So I already mentioned these notifications. Then finally, let me talk a little bit more about the new tutorial. So if you watched my video from a couple of weeks ago now, I started a new world here on beta with the new tutorial. Now, a few things I want to mention here. First of all, in that video, I said that I didn't get the Oracle questline in that tutorial, and I was speculating that you might not get it until Iron Age. Well, I can now confirm that you do indeed get it in Bronze Age. Not 100% sure what triggered it, but I got it after researching these three, or one of these three technologies. Perhaps the teaching would be my guess. So perhaps after unlocking teaching, you get the Oracle, or the blueprint questline for the Oracle of Delphi. That means that you can actually get through Bronze Age even faster than you can on live right now. Because if you remember, you're able to unlock a lot of these immediately with the 4 points you get from the quests here. And then, when we figure out what the trigger actually is, we can research that. If it is teaching, we can research that, go through the questline here, get those 20 fort points, and use those to speed your way through the technology tree and get to Iron Age. So you can probably get there in a day or so. Or you can that already, but now you can probably get there in a day. We'll see. But yeah, that should be interesting to figure out. I suppose I have to update my guides when it comes to starting a new world. But yeah. Another thing I want to mention is that the new tutorial is actually being tested on live servers as well. So if you create a new account, and do it on a server you're not already playing on, but if you create a new account, you might get the new tutorial. It is probably A/B tested. I think it might not be. Perhaps everybody gets it. But yeah, if you create a new account, you should get it. If you start a new world with an old account, you will probably not get it. I think it is tied to creating a brand new account. So yeah, that way you can probably check it out. Although, perhaps I shouldn't say that, because I'm guessing doesn't really want experienced players to create new accounts to test it out, because that would probably skew the data a bit. But yeah, it is an option if you want to check it out. And also I talked a bit with Jibber on my Discord server, and he mentioned that when you reach Iron Age, you don't get a second part of the tutorial, which I really wanted in my original video, but you do get an information text or an information pop-up or something that mentions that from now on you will need roads. Because one of the biggest changes here, you can probably see it already, you don't actually need any roads for the Bronze Age buildings in the new tutorial. But yeah, that's about it for that, I think. And I think that's it for the video. It's already half an hour long, so a bit longer than I expected. Anyways, I just want to, before I end, quickly mention that, this will be my last beta recap of the year. I'm trying to make at least 1 or 2 more videos this year. I have two things I really want to make, but I'm traveling. I'm leaving for home traveling back for Christmas, so I'm leaving in a couple of days, so who knows how much I'll have time to make. But hopefully I will at least make 1 or 2 of those videos I have planned to make. Anyways, before I end, let me thank my Patreons for their support. I would like to thank Comstar, For Prefect, Lorden, Rokonobin, Kim Kelly, Rolf the 8th, PQ the Goat, Dan Suminad, JT, The Rev, Eric B, Hugo Count von Count, Jan Fredriksen, Jutta Dønnes, Filda, Susan Weiss, Megarock, Rocco, Burton Emrist, Henrik der Klærberg, Mattia, Pretty Obsessed, Raf, Daril, Mike, Wolfboy, Atomic, and Flavius Belisarius. Thanks a lot for your support. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the future.